All right, so I I just released my Jurassic Park video literally probably 10 days. I think I recorded that on the 2nd. And I just completely forgot to upload it last week, and I think I recorded it like Friday night, I think is when I recorded it. And then I forgot all weekend, and then I forgot during the week. I remembered like Wednesday, and I'm like, oh, I gotta do that. But I was at work when I remembered it, and then I got to break and I completely forgot. I got home and I completely forgot. And so I was doing stuff today, and I'm like, oh crap, I have to put that up. And then I'm like, oh, I have to put my brewer video up. So I'm gonna put my brewer video up on Monday morning, because I just recorded that probably about an hour ago before I record this video here. Because in that Jurassic Park video, I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's just have some fun. We'll just do a ranking video, for all the Jurassic Park movies. I'll get my thoughts on that because I could have went off on a whole tangent and gone off on the movies rather than staying focused on the book, which was the point of the video. So what we're doing here is we're just gonna go off on a tangent about the movies. And so I'm gonna go in chronological order from release date. So obviously we're gonna do the first three here, and then we'll go. I think this is World, and then I think Fallen Kingdom, Dominion, and then Rebirth. I will talk about Rebirth at the very end, because I haven't really like seen it yet, but I've seen it. If that makes sense. Again, we'll get into it at the end here, but um, I can I guess and I was gonna leave this, but I don't know. I don't. We'll go Z tier. We'll go S tier. Oops, I don't know why. We'll go A, B, and then C. Or actually, we'll leave that. We'll leave that one. I'll leave. I'll leave that one because that one, has it. There's a couple of movies, but starting off, obviously, like this movie is literally it's always going to be in my top 5 all-time favorite movies. Just one, because as a kid I've always loved dinosaurs and whatever. Like when I was growing up, it was like dinosaurs for boys and then like princesses for girls. It's like I feel like how it was, because it just feels like everyone in like kindergarten was like into dinosaurs or construction vehicles, like a dump truck or whatever. Like we're all into that, and then all the girls are into like princesses and Disney and whatever. But this movie, and I was born. Let's see, about 7 years after it came out. Actually, I was born about a year before the third movie came out. Yeah, I think it was 2001 when the third movie came out. So I was actually born. I was born in 2000. So yeah, literally like a year before it came out. And so like I missed. I didn't get to see 1 and 2, or even like 3 in theaters. I think World is the only one I actually saw in theaters, because I didn't go for Fallen. What did I go for? Fallen Kingdom? Oh, maybe not. Maybe I went for Fallen Kingdom. I don't remember. I that movie was so meh to me that I'm like, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. But so like I wasn't there for the hype, like when Jurassic Park released, when the second one released, which again we're going to talk about in a minute. But and then the third one, which is finally getting its praises 24 years later. I saw a bunch of memes and whatever, people are talking about the Spinosaurus and whatever years after. But this set the standard, and I can't confirm it, but I feel like Jurassic Park is what basically caused Walking with Dinosaurs to happen. I don't that's my what's it called? I was gonna say speculation, not speculation. That's my conspiracy theory. As with the booming of like Jurassic Park movies, like okay, we got to do other stuff here. So that's where Walking with Dinosaurs came with. Later on, that was actually I think like 99, 98. So that would have been like a year or two after Lost World came out. The second movie here came out. So yeah, like I don't know. I feel like success like it just led to a bunch of stuff, and then obviously, really, I think I don't know. I guess I haven't looked if people love When Dinosaurs Roamed America, but I think was it When Dinosaurs? I think that was the movie. But that was like early 2000s when that came out. I love that movie. That as a kid, that was like one of my favorite movies as a kid. That and Walking with Dinosaurs. But like it just feels like there's a big boom period, late 90s, early 2000s, and then slowly started to kind of fade off, which is sad because even nowadays I feel like it's just anymore. Obviously, they have tried with what did they call it? Was it like Prehistoric Planet? I think it was called or whatever. So there was one in it was like Prehistoric Planet and like Prehistoric World or something. I forget what they were. They tried one in like 2017, 2018 or whatever. Did okay. And then they tried stuff during like COVID, like 2022, 2021, 2022, somewhere in there. With like I think that one was the Prehistoric Planet one. And I remember watching that one. That one wasn't bad. CGI was pretty good. Obviously, like they're modern, takes or whatever. But they, they just didn't capture it. And then they just released something. I think it was earlier this year. It was either this year or the end of last year. They just did another dinosaur themed miniseries on streaming, and it was atrocious. I think I watched one episode of it, and I think there was like 7 or 8 of them. But like so many people were upset with that show, and it's gone in the gutter. It's like gone now. So, this like Jurassic Park really kicked off what was like a big boom for dinosaurs. And that again, late 90s, early 2000s, and then it's never recovered since. Like they used to do them so good. And now obviously that's that's the movie industry, that's Hollywood, that's all these other, factors in modern day where it's just not as good stuff. Like, and again, some of it's nostalgia. The tinted red glasses you put on, you're like, oh, look at my childhood was way better. But it's just a lot of the like they're never. I don't know if there's ever going to be another boom period like this for dinosaurs again. And it really, like, Jurassic Park really set that standard and really kind of helped move stuff. And just it was so good. Like the first movie is so good. I mentioned it, I think, in both parts of when I did the first half of the book and the second half of the book. I mentioned how the first movie, I saw a comment that said the first movie was basically a horror movie, and I fully agree with that comment. The first movie, and just like the book, is just it's creepy, it's scary, it's some stuff that comes out of left field, and you're like, oh. And so if you've seen the movies, I definitely recommend reading the books because the books are way different. You can take my experiences from it. You can go get the books. You can probably get the books for like $5-6 somewhere. Like it's probably not even that bad. About 400 pages per book. So if you can read that much, it's not that hard. Obviously, it took me a couple months just because I've had so much to do and so much going on in my life. I haven't had a day to like sit down for like 4 hours, 5 hours, and just read like 200 pages like that. I used to be able to, but I can't anymore. There's just no time. So yeah, but yeah, like this is always just gonna be like a top 5 movie all time for me. Like I don't even know what my other 5 were. I'd have to really sit down and think about that. But I know for a fact Jurassic Park would be up there. Lost World. I don't like the movie. Now, I have not read read the books, or I'm getting to read the book now, the second book. And so I don't know how much different it's going to be from the movie, and I hope that the movie is way different because I do not like this movie at all. It feels so weird, and I understand they're going for the fact of like, hey, like we're releasing dinosaurs like into the real world, like they're in California. I think it takes place in San Diego, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've seen the second movie, but you know, it's just there's so many misses in this movie, and I don't like it at all. I really don't. Obviously, you have a pretty fun scene with the Tyrannosaurus family knocking the RV camper kind of off the. I don't think it was an RV camper, but the camper off a cliff, and you see the two the adults coming looking for the baby or whatever, and they circle that the camper, and that visual still sticks with me. I still love that visual. I still love the visual of the Stegos walking across in the forest. They're walking in front of Ian Malcolm, who, spoiler alert, if you haven't read the book, he's if you haven't read the first or really any of the books, he's not in the freaking book, or he's not in the he's not in the book because he dies. This man dies in the book. So they took their own liberty, like we're not going to kill him, and we're going to We're gonna have him come back for the second movie because we need some, familiar characters or whatever is probably what they were thinking. But yeah, they do okay. Jeff Goldblum does as good as he can. For I don't like this movie at all. There's visual scenes that look pretty good, and I just like that's about it for me. Like it's I'm gonna put it up there, but it's the worst of the trilogy, which is crazy because if you go back to the release of the third movie, if you go back, actually, you know what I might even do? I might even do that. I think we'll do that for now because I'll explain in a minute. But if you go back to the release of the original third movie here back in like 2001 2002 when it first came out, it was in theaters. People hated this movie. They said it was the worst of the three. They always said it was so bad. This was disappointing. It was, a terrible way. This was so bad they scrapped a fourth movie. There were plans for a fourth movie in place, and with how bad the third movie did, they killed off the fourth movie. Now, probably a good thing because if I remember correctly, they were going to do like human dino hybrids in the fourth movie, which kind of like there's a little talking point about it in the first book. Again, maybe there might be more in the second book. Again, I'm still gonna get to that. We'll get to that. I'm one day I'll have my review on the second book for that. But kind of glad they didn't really do a fourth movie for that. But as time goes on, and I think I had all three movies at the same time. I think my parents got me like all three Jurassic Park movies at the same time. But as time goes on, I love this movie more than the Lost World. I think the Lost World is just it's what people were complaining about how bad the third movie felt back then is what the second movie feels like to me. It feels like it's just not good. Like it's not. Like I just don't like the second movie at all. Like I really don't. And obviously we'll get to the world, but it's better than most. I would argue 3/4 of the world movies. There's one in there we'll talk about here in literally like 5 seconds. But for the third movie, it just I like the choreography. I like the cinematography of it. Bring Alan Grant back. I thought that was a pretty cool idea. I like the concept of the third movie more than just like, okay, let's just release dinosaurs into into California. Which Jurassic World did too, to a terrible, like they went the terrible path and they don't even kind of follow stuff up. The further into the Jurassic World franchise you get, the less it's like, oh, what? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like what happened to all this that you just set up at the end of the second movie? Like where did it all go? But with the third movie, you're centered on is it Isla Sorna? I think is it Sorna? God, what are the other? I forget what the other islands are. But you're centered on one island, and you're looking for a missing family member here, and then you have your extras that get killed off and eaten by the Spino. You have a Spino T-Rex fight, which people still to this day argue, even though I think it was confirmed years ago that it juvenile. So that was not Rexy or anything. That was a juvenile T-Rex that lost the fight. I mean, spoiler if you it's been 24 years, so if you haven't seen the third movie, especially again with how popular it's kind of been and how many whatever, he lost the fight, but people still bring up the talking point this deep 24 years later, which I was as a kid I was like, that makes no sense. What my goat lost to that thing, that thing with the stupid sail on its back, like my goat lost to that thing. What? What? I couldn't comprehend that as a kid. So then we'll go the first world movie. Now I this is okay. I'm gonna do this. We'll go this and then I'll go these two here. I'm gonna just kind of do that because I can just kind of summarize 3/4 of them together as just ass. They're bad. They're terrible. They're just money grab, cash grab movies. The first movie attempted, and I respect it. I respect the attempt for it. I'm putting it up there with the Lost World. And so that, I mean, when you compare the worst Jurassic Park movie to the best Jurassic World movie, which is the first one, the fact that the first Jurassic World movie is like right there for me personally with, the worst, I respect the hell out of that. There's a lot of good moments. I always love the death scene of which, again, I talk about in my book review too. The babysitter for the kids gets picked up by a pteranodon, and then the pteranodon and the babysitter get just boom. They get swallowed by a mosasaurus that jumps up out of the water and kills her and kills the pteranodon. Like I thought that was a really good scene. I love that kill. You have the Indominus Rex, which obviously, yes, it's stupid. It's like, okay, well, how does that monster go missing? Well, it's in the cage and no one can see it. And, like what happened? Like, it makes no sense. Obviously, it's to set up the movie for it to run around. I did like, were they the gyro balls or whatever, where they were kind of running around the island, looking at dinosaurs in them. And then they kind of become pinballs at one point. And, the Indominus Rex, as a concept is cool. I liked it in practice in the movie. I thought it was really cool what they did with it. And yeah, so like the first movie felt like an attempt to really kind of change trajectory and kind of go off an interesting path here. And then they just kind of veered all the way right, went past everything and just said, we're going to go right into the swampy water and just kill ourselves in here. Because the second movie I didn't like. The Indoraptor, like, it's okay. The design, I thought it was just like a black colored Indominus Rex. That kind of basically is, but obviously smaller because it's based off a raptor more so than a T-Rex. I don't know. I mean, the visual of it dying on the Triceratops skull at the very end of the movie, I thought was interesting to say the least. But the movie, I don't like. Again, then this is where I was talking about. Like they release dinosaurs into the world, and then they kind of don't really follow up on it. Like it just kind of becomes a thing for the third movie, and I don't know. I just like I was like, when you have something like a Therizinosaurus, which a lot of younger people are going to be introduced with through a movie like Jurassic World, because obviously you had Prehistoric Park, I think it was, with was that guy named Nigel, I think, in the show. I don't remember if that was his real name or not, but like you had that, which kind of introduced me to Therizinosaurus, as like 10-year-old, 11-year-old, so like 2010, 2011, whenever it was. But like I don't know, like they could have done so much more. I hate that the Giga was just a straight up just like a bad guy for the movie, just killing people, and then just they have to team up. Rexy and the Therizinosaurus team up, which I think the Therizinosaurus is blind in the movie. If I remember, I don't know why that detail comes to mind, but I think it was blind in the movie. I just like I don't like the third movie as a whole. If you would have just had the Giga just be like, oh yeah, it's on the island, it escaped, it's killing stuff, but it's just kind of doing its thing because it's an animal, not a monster, which is where the Jurassic World kind of gets everything. So okay, it gets it wrong, but the first two are obviously created dinosaur monsters. So versus the Giga is a real life version that they created. Like it has obviously like there was Gigas, millions of years ago. So that, like, I understand when you have the first two, like the Indominus Rex. Again, it was a monster created. It's its own thing with the hybrid DNA and whatever, and to an extent, and basically the same thing with the Indoraptor too. But I don't know. I just feel like you could have just had the Giga basically kind of replace Rexy, just kind of be the main dinosaur on there, because like a Giga is really cool. Like they're one of the biggest dinosaurs, predator dinosaurs, I should say, like ever. Like that's cool in itself. It's rivals and sometimes it's bigger than the T-Rex. So and I understand Rexy is a nostalgic factor at this point, and they're gonna try to fit in Rexy because look at it, first movie, whoa! But I don't like. You could have easily just had the Giga be its own thing, and then if you wanted to have it fight a Therizinosaurus at the end, sure, that's fine with me. They basically just turn it into a basic, just bad guy. Just there it is, there it is, and now we got to take care of it, and now the dinosaurs are teaming up to take care of it, and woo, it's I don't know. I hated that whole sequence at the end. I like and he was barely in the movie. I think the Giga was movie for is it like 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes out of like a hour 50 runtime or something. So I don't know. They flop so hard. Like really that you could tell they kind of just cash grab the second Jurassic World, the third one, and then Rebirth here. As I said, I haven't seen it, but I've seen it. I've seen all like the clip, whatever, know the details. Or there's two plots. One is a family gets trapped on the island, and then the other is like they're going to retrieve whatever materials, DNA or whatever it is, and then we got to save the people, got to save the family, and then they combine, and then blah blah blah. And I absolutely hate the design of the D-Rex. I hate the idea of the D-Rex. I think this should have never been a movie. You got some, you get like Scarlett Johansson was obviously like, big actor name in this movie, but like it didn't, I didn't even want to see it. I just watched so many reviews. Like, I'm just like, oh, like it's kind of dumb. That's kind of dumb. The only thing I will say is the rap scene with the family is I am like 90% sure they took inspiration from the book. Because obviously like they have like, going down the river and then there's a T-Rex there. In the book, the T-Rex doesn't like swim in the water. At least at Alan Grant and the kids, he doesn't swim at the water. But I like that idea of, oh hey, like let's have a T-Rex, which is again basically like a lizard, and oh, can they swim? Can they not? What's whole scientific thing about it, if they could kind of breathe underwater long enough to kind of get from island to island, if they live close to islands or whatever, or to escape other predators. But like that was interesting. That was kind of cool, and I did like the design of the newer design of the T-Rex in this movie. But I hate the D-Rex, and technically it doesn't die, right? It technically doesn't even die. Oh, what what are they? Are we gonna have a sixth one or a seventh one? What are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are we gonna have an eighth one? Just exploring, like killing the D-Rex. Is that what this is? The eighth one's gonna be? Like, I don't know. It's very clearly the last three are just cash grabs, and they're just getting progressively worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And it sucks because as a dinosaur lover myself, like I want to see just the media absolutely thrive like it did back in the 90s and early 2000s. I want to see all this, like to see like new discoveries and whatnot on like news and stuff. Like I remember that, like they used to talk about, like they used to have like dinosaur stories, like happening or whatever. And now obviously it's, not as big, and, you kind of have to go out of your way to kind of find it. But we're gonna get to a point in the world where like even like AI, like I don't want to see like AI dinosaur movies. There's already like AI Dragon Ball stuff that kind of pisses me off, and people are already memeing about this Vegito fusion. What's it called, Kakata or whatever? But like I don't want to see that crap. I don't want to see AI dinosaurs and AI dinosaur movies and whatever world we're going towards. Like, I want to see us drift back towards kind of how it used to be, even though it's never going to be how it used to be because the internet is so big and it just rules over everyone's life now. But I love that more man-made, those animatronics, which again they did with the was it the Apatosaurus? I think it was the Apatosaurus in Jurassic World 1. They did that. It wasn't a full one, it was just like the neck and the head, but they had an animatronic in that scene. And I thought we were going to slowly get back to that. Obviously, I thought, okay, we're going to kind of ease back into it, for Jurassic World 1, and then maybe by 2 or 3, we're going to have, half the movie's going to be animated CGI. But no, we just went full CGI. I don't remember if there was any animatronics in the next 3 movies. But I just like I love the realistic, the more like and even still, like Jurassic Park's like a fantasy world of hey, we're bringing back dinosaurs, and obviously it might in the future not be like we could be getting closer to that world. And obviously, when you have the dire wolf, they brought back the dire wolf, which I covered on this channel a couple months ago. Maybe I'll link that video in the description. But maybe one day we could get a Jurassic World or a Jurassic Park. But I don't know. It sucks how everything's kind of a cash grab and everything's just like, oh, well, at one point people love this, so let's do this franchise again and ruin it now. I just like I want to see real change. I want to see like real good movies. But I don't know if we're ever going to get that again. I really don't. And I don't know if we're ever going to get a dinosaur boom, like I said at the beginning. I don't know. It might never happen again. Who knows? But for now, let me know your favorite Jurassic Park franchise movie. Do you like some of the World movies? Obviously, I don't think it's a hot take that the first World movie is kind of liked. I think some people at least enjoy it better than the rest of them. But maybe you like the second one. The second one wasn't the worst thing ever, but for me, I just didn't really like it. But yeah, let me know. Maybe you like Lost World more than 3, maybe. But I'm out of here. Peace.